This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we continue our 80s Brat Pack movie series with a review of Weird Science. Plus, Marvel Studios will return to Hall H at this year's San Diego Comic-Con. Trailer reactions for Cobra Kai Season 6, the animated Batman Cape Crusader show, and Hellboy the Crooked Man, Frank Grillo arresting Superman, and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, July 1st, 2024.
This is Frank Grillo. You know me. But who are you? Are you the discerning, sophisticated type of person who enjoys all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news? Pop culture references, witty banter? Me neither. I'm just here for the dick jokes.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We talk it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We talk it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
What's up, listener? How you doing? Thank you for pressing play, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero, TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
Joining us is a fella who likes to shower with his pants on, and who also forgot to connect the doll. You gotta hook up the doll, rug boy. What's in your room now?
Don't ask.
Oh boy. The wrong thing.
Because I have a lot of just random pubes on the floor.
Oh God, I don't want to know.
And so
they're just now giant pubes.
Yes.
yeah, there is basically, it looks like a palm tree.
It's a
of pubes.
pube tree. A pube monster has appeared because you need the doll.
Yeah, it doesn't grow any fruit of any kind.
Oh God.
Pube fruit. No pube fruit. That's a
Dingleberries, maybe.
That is a weird mental image. Thank you for that.
You asked me to be gross.
Yeah,
so
no, that's fine. That's what I expect you to be.
You set me up for grossness.
Anything less would be undignified.
Uncivilized.
Be uncivilized. It would not pass.
Remember those commercials?
Yes. Anything. What was that commercial for?
Some kind of
anything
Old Spice, was it?
I feel
anything
like
less would be uncivilized.
I feel like it was for some kind of deodorant. Anything less would be uncivilized.
What is that? Right guard. Yep.
Right guard.
Deodorant.
They still make that shit? I don't see right guard anymore. Now I see all the fancy Harry's aluminum free bullshit everywhere. Why is deodorant?
I'm on the aluminum free train now.
Why is deodorant $12 motherfucking dollars? Can someone answer me that? You put less things in here and charge 3 times as much. I don't understand the world we're living in. Anyways, this is not a deodorant podcast. This is
you should start one.
we should deodorant ratings reviews every week. No, that was a big reference to the awesome 80s movie we'll be reviewing later on in the show. First, we've got some trailers, some geek news. Let's get to it.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
Anthony, we're like a little under a month away from a big weekend for geekdom here. Yeah.
I'm going to be there.
We got San Diego Comic-Con and
I'll be there.
Deadpool and Wolverine coming out.
Live reporting.
You need to record some fucking Patreon instant reactions. Well, I think you picked a good year to go. Did you see the news? Deadline reporting. Marvel returning to Hall H. Oh my God.
I did. I don't know that I'll even get in there though.
That's my first question. Are you going to burn a whole day waiting in line from like 7 a.m?
So from what I understand now, I'm not 100% on this, but from what I've heard from my sources is that you have to get there on Wednesday. You stand in line and you get a raffle ticket.
Oh, geez.
And the ticket, if you hit your raffle, it'll tell you what day you've been assigned. Hall H.
Oh, so can't even. Oh, geez.
But I'm not even going to go in until, or I think it's either Wednesday or Thursday. But I'm not even going to get to San Diego till Thursday night. So I think I might even miss this raffle. I've messaged my friends. I said, I don't know how we're going to get in there, but we're going to get in there. So we'll see what happens.
For the Marvel presentation?
Yeah, we got to find a way, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Listen, I've seen you work your magic with a doorman in New York City bars.
I'm handing out 20s to every.
That's all you
every
gotta do,
sweaty
my
dude
friend.
at the
Yeah, you
convention.
just slip it in his hand. Remember my face. I'll be back. And then maybe he'll.
I like to do the old, like I slip it in your hand and then I just like magically wave my hands like, nope, nothing's in my hands anymore.
See?
How did that get there?
What's this? So,
What's this?
but it brings up a good point, and like John Campea was talking about it, how it's crazy that there's how many 100,000 people go to this fucking convention, and 6,000 lucky people only get to experience the Hall H. Why don't they like simulcast video broadcast it around the convention so everybody can enjoy it? And then what you said, it's a complete luck. It's a roll of the dice if you even get into Hall H, even if you get there to get the raffle ticket and get picked. That's insane.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's better than what they had before, where it was people were waiting overnight.
Yeah.
Camping out. So I think they wanted to avoid that. So,
well, what do you guys think we're going to see? What would you like to see? I heard Mr. Jeff Snyder on the hot mic say he heard that the San Diego is going to be movie stuff for Marvel, and at D23 they're going to release all the TV stuff. So, do you think Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman showing up? I don't know. I feel like they should. I feel like it's time. Marvel needs to come back. They're on kind of a
Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds.
I mean, just to make a big presence, make something entertaining, have some big announcements. They're kind of on their back heels right now, right? They're not complete. It's not gone down the drain, but it suffered a little bit, and they need to.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll be able to measure what Marvel's up to and whether it's still got a shot at being in the game after this thing. Because this is where they have to kind of make their announcement and stand out. And if they just are bringing weak shit, then that's it. Like the hate mongering is going to start at that moment, unless they have something that could shut people up, because they have so much bad will with like these groups of like hate watchers that watch things.
Yes.
So they're already like, their backs are up against the wall. They need to I don't think they can do it. I think that they've created this basically once you create, it's almost like the boo when people start booing.
Yeah.
Like once a few people start booing, everyone, and then they just boo for the rest of the show.
There's no going back.
So I think that's what happens. Like they got to a point where people can boo them. And now, like, they'll find something wrong with anything that they do.
Shit.
But I don't even think that they can get it, because the whole entire thing that they're doing wrong is that they have this workforce that is inept. And I don't think they've really rectified that situation, or can.
Anthony, what do they need to do? Can they reverse the boo effect?
The what?
Anything's possible.
The boo effect? What he just said. When once audience starts booing in a corner, it spreads.
Well, I don't think this audience is the audience that's going to be there is not going to boo anything.
No, I'm just saying, like, after the fact, they're going to have all the hate watchers booing them.
Yeah.
Or making takedown videos.
Yeah, they need to come with some like good movie announcements and kind of outline what their plan is moving forward. I think, bringing the cast of Fantastic Four, I think would be huge.
I can see that happening.
That's probably going to having a couple people cast as X-Men would be huge.
Oh, that would be
maybe
great.
Talking about Avengers and what that looks like. I think those are the only things. Those are the three things that I think will make people excited again.
We need a title update on the Avengers movies, right? That will be
a title update, maybe. Maybe some sort of like trailer that they show, like recapping where they're at and where they're going. Maybe an outline of what's the phases look like moving forward. I don't know.
What about that movie that they're making with Black Widow and
Thunderbolts? They could probably show a trailer, some footage. You got Captain America: Brave New World. That's just sounds like they're completely remaking this movie. There was a report out that the rumored budget has ballooned to like $375 million, and they're just like reshooting the whole movie or something crazy. So they need to bring some goodwill and show something good from that fucking movie, because now I have no idea what that movie's going to be about. But the Avengers thing would be great. How funny would it be if they were like, ladies and gentlemen, our Blade, Mahershala Ali, and he comes out like in an old man wig and a walker just to fuck with them. Like, they either need to acknowledge this or make fun of it. I don't think you can ignore it because somebody is going to ask you what the fuck is happening.
I would like to see to show everybody that Blade is happening. That'd be important.
Like, you can announce a director.
They need to show that these movies are happening and they're good.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to make any kind of announcement. If they really made an announcement, go, hey, listen, we know where the problems are. We fixed them all. We're making the movies that you want to see now. We're making movies that are adventures and fun times. And
this is the message that needs to be communicated.
We're not making movies to kind of browbeat you about certain things. We're just kind of tell these stories, these fun stories of heroism, but they're not going to do that. There's not a chance in hell they're going to do that.
Anthony, I hope you get into Hall H. I'm jealous you're going to be there, but I think it's going to be a fun weekend. Like back in the day, like before the pandemic, San Diego Comic-Con weekends.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, I'm not like super merry. I'd love to get into Hall H. Don't get me wrong, because I think it's going to be huge this year, especially with the writing strike last year. Yep. I think a lot of cool shit's going to happen. That said, one of the guys I'm going with, it's his first time, and I don't want one of his days to be just waiting in line. So
yeah, it's that's kind of part of the thing, as we've heard from other people who have done this, but that sounds horrible.
I mean, San Diego Comic-Con, there's a lot to see outside of Hall H, like a lot. It's pretty massive.
I can't wait. Geek Boner. Huge Geek Boner weekend coming up just in a little bit. July 20th, 26th to 28th. Expect lots of announcements. Listener, let us know what you think is going to be happen at Hall H. Join this conversation. You can join.
Going to be happened.
What is going to be happen at San Diego Comic-Con?
They're going to announce the sequel to the Eternals.
Oh yes, that's what everybody needs. That'll really.
Why is there a hand?
But will someone finally address the giant god sticking out of the earth? Be great. There's already like banners with Fantastic Four artwork going up. I saw some photos. But listener, join our Facebook Nation, where somebody in the nation will post updates as they happen, as we used to do, as we've done every year at San Diego Comic-Con, Jock and Nerd Nation. It's a lot of fun. Closed Facebook group just for the listener. Okay, got a couple of trailers here. Moving on. Our favorite 80s reworked reboot show, Cobra Kai, just put out a trailer for season 6, part 1.
Oh, shit.
We discussed in the past, this final season, it's going to be 15 episodes. It's going to be split up into 3 drops. First drop of 5 comes out July 18th. And yeah, we are in season 6. Part of me is glad that this is ending because they've really milked a lot of shit, surprisingly, and still made it entertaining. Anthony, you get a look at this trailer.
I did.
What do you think? What do we see? It's kind of crazy. Everybody's all together on one side at Miyagi-Do.
Yeah, I love the Karate Kid. I love Cobra Kai. This is the show that I didn't think could do the things it's doing and it'd be so entertaining on a weekly basis. As far as the trailer, it's kind of interesting because I feel like there isn't really conflict anymore.
Yeah, what is the conflict?
They've all are on the same side. The only thing that's different, or the only thing that seems to be conflict, is Kreese is back out. And he's potentially starting up his own dojo again. But I feel like that's a road we've already traveled before. And they mentioned some tournament that I've never heard of. It's not the Valley tournament.
No, it looks like maybe, what's his name? Terry is opening Cobra Kai dojos around the world.
Oh, didn't they shut him down?
Did they shut him down? They did they get it back? Or they just shut him down? I can't remember.
I thought they shut him down. So
I don't remember what happened, but this is a brilliant idea. Because
Kreese has another dojo.
This takes Miyagi-Do out of just the Valley into the world. Like, are they the best in the world? Yeah. Is Miyagi-Do the best way?
Yeah.
And I'd like to see how it measures up to like the best dojos in the world.
Yeah, it's a good.
I think that they should have done that a long time ago,
like 3 seasons ago, maybe.
I had a different take. So, by the way, Silver is arrested and his students leave him.
Terry Silver is arrested. Yes, it's Kreese who's got this new dojo of mostly like Asian students. It looks like.
Well, he faked his death,
right?
And then he left. I'm actually of the mindset of I love the show, and I'm definitely going to watch. But it seemed to me like we've run out of ideas.
So remember, it's the Sakai.
Because we're doing Kreese again.
I know Kreese is back. He was here.
Yeah,
and
the
they got
fact
rid
that
of
they
him.
have Kreese again, and
brought him back.
Like all you really needed is them trying to take Miyagi-Do global and see how they stack up against the world, and then the fact that they find the mystery box, the Miyagi box, whatever that fucking thing is.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. What is that? Secrets? Miyagi secrets? I've never been seen.
They are doing.
It's
I
his
don't know.
weed.
This has got to be an allusion to another movie, but looking at the titles of the first 5 episodes,
Yeah.
So the first episode's called Peacetime in the Valley, which alludes to the fact that it sounds like everything's in peace.
Right.
Everyone's working together. Second episode's The Prize. Third is Sleeper. 4 is Underdogs. But I found the 5th title to be particularly interesting. It is called Best of the Best.
Oh shit! Oh wow!
Oh shit!
Nice.
Oh, that's best of the best.
So they might be
movie.
doing like a team karate, best of the best against another country or some shit.
It's remember it says in the description they're going to compete in the Sakai Takai, the World Championship of Karate tournament.
Do you think Dhalsim's going to be there?
I was thinking. I don't think they can go this far, but they could have one of the Asian dudes kill someone.
Oh shit!
And then, at the end, Sholo Maradona. What's his name's character? What's the character's name? Whatever. Miguel has a chance to kill him, but then spares his life, and then that dude, the Asian dude, then says he's now his brother. Like the end of the Best of the Best.
Oh yes,
you are now my brother.
That movie is something.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie. I will also say, watching this trailer, the first thing I thought was, there's peace. What's the conflict? And then I went, oh, there's Kreese.
Yeah.
We're doing this again.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I thought to myself is, there were a couple of scenes where they were just talking to one another, especially Miguel and the girl, what's her face's daughter?
Yeah.
What's his, Russo's
Sam.
daughter?
Sam.
Yeah. And I'm like, they are really stretching this with these kids looking like they're in high school.
Oh my God.
They're in high school anymore.
They're getting older. They're definitely getting older. They're still.
They look like Bender playing high school kids.
They're like Judd Nelson old now at this point. I mean, Jolo was did the whole Blue Beetle thing. There's still tension between Robbie and Miguel, and then Tori and
Sholo
Sam.
Maradona is 23, which is
all right,
not too far. But Mary Mauser, who plays Sam LaRussa, is 28 years old.
She's 28. She doesn't look that old. She looks actually kind of younger. That's amazing. I hope they write.
I thought she looked. I thought she was looking pretty old by this point. Not old. Not old. Like old.
Yeah.
Not like 50 years old. But definitely not where I'm like, oh, that's a high schooler.
American flag mohawk on Hawk there. It's nice also. But I'm in. Give me a good finish. You got Chosen and Daniel.
Hopefully this is the last one, so hopefully they've got something.
Time to close it out with a bang. July 18th, very soon. So we will review the first 5 of those episodes when they come out for sure. All right, let's move on to the next trailer. Ruggs, I'm going to start with you. Remember way back when James Gunn took over and Peter Safran took over the DC thing, there was talks of bringing back or a reimagining of the Batman animated series, and then kind of fell through the cracks. Well, Amazon Prime picked it up. It's not going to be on Max, but it is coming out on Prime. Batman Caped Crusader, August 1st. This is produced by Bruce Timm, Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams, and very much harkens back to the Batman 90s animated series. Did you see this trailer? What did you think of this?
Yeah, it just looks like a take off of that show, but they basically designed it like early DC Comics.
Yeah, what do you think of the Batman look, the long ears? That's like the original design from 1939. DC
Comics.
Yeah, and it's like set in the 40s.
He's got the short gloves.
Oh, I love those ears.
I think Batman had purple gloves, like the original one.
Yeah, right. What do you think? It's very Bruce Timm. It's very like that same Art Deco aesthetic, but maybe a little bit darker, a little bit edgier.
I think it looks cool. I think it looks a little dated, but I think it's still very cool. It reminds me of, they did like a special one time, like with black and white.
Oh, yeah.
and they did it in that style, and it looks reminiscent of that. So I'm down for that. I think I love a dark Batman, and I love the Batman the animated series. So I'm totally down for this. I can't wait to watch that.
Anthony, did you watch the animated series back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I mean, I have a similar relationship with the animated series that I do with X-Men.
Oh, sure.
I watched it back in the day, but I don't really remember. I remember liking it, but I don't remember any of the details.
Sure, like individual episodes or whatever.
Right.
What'd you think of this? Would you watch this?
If y'all forced me, I mean, watch it.
I love the way this looks. Like, this looks fucking pretty great, and it's very nostalgic in the style.
But these shows were always really good. They were like the top talent was writing these shows.
Yeah.
And they actually cared. They actually made the shows right in tone. They weren't idiotic stories. They all made sense. And it was just high quality stuff. So even if you weren't into the cartoon, you got to at least respect the level of quality of the writing, at least.
There's always good storytelling, for sure. Some of the talent in this, you have this guy Hamish Linklater as Batman. He sounds pretty good in this trailer, anyways.
That's not the guy that used to do it.
No, he
passed away.
He passed away. Kevin Conroy. This is not Kevin Conroy.
Oh, wow.
But he sounds like him. I didn't mind it. You got Jamie Chung as Harley Quinn, Christina Ricci as Catwoman, Diedrich Bader as Harvey Dent, a couple other people. So not a bad voice cast. This is interesting that it's going to be on Prime when you have a Max and a whole DC hub over there, and this thing's coming out on Prime. Is kind of crazy, but whatever.
I feel like Prime. I feel like a lot of these streamers aren't investing as much, but Prime is still out there going, yeah, we'll throw around some cash.
Yeah, they didn't want to pay to do this, and they shopped it around, and Prime picked it up, and they're like, we'll finish it. I think the Harley Quinn design also is kind of interesting. She looks way more like a jester from like a playing card with big collar and stuff. Interesting. August 1st, we'll watch one final trailer. This also just came out today. And I think we discussed this in the past too. Did you guys remember they're doing another Hellboy reboot? A second.
I think we might have mentioned this.
Hellboy.
I feel like it came out of nowhere.
The David Harbour one being the last one didn't really work that well. Well, this new one, first trailer, called Hellboy the Crooked Man. It's based on a story series from the comics by Mike Mignola, of course. Anthony, I'm going to start with you. I know you're not like the biggest Hellboy fan. It is comic book source material. What did you think?
Yeah. What is this? I wasn't paying attention towards the end. What is this? Is this a movie?
This is an actual movie that's apparently coming out in theaters. I don't know when.
I feel like we're going backwards with Hellboy. I mean, what is this?
Yeah,
to me, this looked like. I mean, what's that with that design? He looks like shit. I don't know. That doesn't look very intimidating at all. Yeah, I don't know. I thought this looked pretty cheap.
It's got like obviously a horror vibe.
This looked kind of sci-fi-esque.
Yeah, not horror. There's a lot of like.
No, that's. I mean, like the channel.
Oh yes, no. This looks like a goddamn fan film. Like I don't know. This is definitely a downgrade. Like the David Harbour one wasn't great, but this is definitely a downgrade. Ruggs, what do you think? Is there some merit to this kind of indie-looking Hellboy? It looks like
I don't know.
Ugh. It looks as bad as The Crow that's about to come out.
I don't know. Like, I feel like the one they did with David Harbour was such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I think they're just trying to go smaller and go more in the horror direction and less in the adventure direction.
That's what this looks like.
So it's a smaller budget movie, more horror vibes. The makeup isn't great, but it doesn't help that this actor I've never seen before.
Jack Kesey is his name. I have no idea.
Like he's literally been in like nothing that we know of. Like he's been in a lot of like B movies, but that doesn't mean I should write him off. He could be fine.
Yeah.
I'm curious about this movie. I don't think it's going to be good, but I'm curious to watch it. I'll watch it because I'm like, how viable is Hellboy right now? Like, he's not. He's
at
just
all.
not. I mean, Del Toro made 2 amazing Hellboy movies, and they're both great.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched Hellboy in a while, watch the first one and the second one.
Yeah.
They are so good.
Forgot about it.
And so much fun, and just the tone is great, and the humor in it is good, and it's got a lot going for it. It has that mystique about it. And of course, the guy playing Hellboy is great. So I don't know. I'm curious to see. I don't think it's going to be good, but I'm going to watch it.
Ron Perlman Hellboy is great.
I think it's watching that. It's really tough to go from Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy in the early 2000s and then go to that
to this
what we just saw and be like, first off, that was 20 years ago, and you had a mastermind, and now it's like it looks like a fan film. Like,
yeah, it does look like a fan film.
That's very weird.
Very small.
Yeah,
too. Like, I don't know. I don't really get
think that they're deconstructing Hellboy from just to be more like a John Constantine. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, like Hellblazer, like Constantine. Yeah, where he's
so like the real John not the Neo
book,
Constantine,
right? The comic book one. Yeah, who's just into dark magic and he's
Constantine shows up. There's a mystery. He solves the mystery and puts the demon away, and then he goes home.
I mean, if you look at like who's making this, listen to these names. Produced by Millennium Media, Dark Horse Entertainment, New Boyana Film Studios, and Campbell Grobman Films, and distributed by Ketchup Entertainment.
Yeah, this is a very down-home, independent film here. Looks like I've never heard of any of those.
But
it's good, but I don't know.
It's one of those things, right? It's a big studio movie is going to be like have all the problems that Marvel has. They're going to have all of these fucking pencil pushers and meetings and people and HR and this and that fucking with your movie. So maybe a lower budget movie where you can do it, you can do cooler stuff, but it comes with some setbacks. Obviously, you don't have the money for good makeup. You can't hire top acting.
You got to film the movie in Bulgaria.
Yes, somewhere random forest. What?
Yeah, you got in a forest somewhere.
Is it filmed in Bulgaria? Yeah, you get a lot of tax cuts there, I believe. Bulgaria pays you to come over and shoot a movie.
In the 1950s, Hellboy and a rookie BPRD agent stranded in rural Appalachia discover a small community haunted by witches, led by a local devil with a troubling connection to Hellboy's past, the Crooked Man.
See, if they could deliver a solid horror movie with Hellboy in it, I think that's a win also.
This is a question mark. It could be really bad, or it could be watchable, or it could be at least. It will never be anywhere near what Guillermo del Toro did, because he just pulled off a miracle with Hellboy. But I don't know. It might be a better watch than a Marvel movie. Who knows?
I think you guys are being real lenient. There's no way this is any good.
You think this is worse than the Crow remake that's about to come out? The Crow looks a little bit better.
I've heard that was terrible too.
I've heard that's really bad. I can't wait to see that.
I think that the Crow remake looks better than this. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that trailer looks a little bit better than this. This looks very... We had $500,000 and here's a movie we made. But you're right, Ruggs. It has potential to be really good. We're going to have to wait and see. There's no date later this year.
I don't know about really good.
Or just good.
I just say it'll be better than maybe we're giving.
What about there's a little CGI you see in here.
Apparently he's quoted as saying,
how much did it cost?
Hellboy and Crooked Man were created and shot practically with no CGI.
Oh, shit. Who said that? The director?
Yeah.
How much did it cost?
It doesn't say.
It's not going to say.
Okay.
Not much. $20.
$10.
$20. $23.50. Okay, finally in the news, I put this in for Ruggs. We talked last week about there's a lot of set photos now of Cleveland Superman on set in Cleveland. Some nice shots of Lois Lane and Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. I will say Rachel Brosnahan in that purple blouse, those photos, she looks like Lois Lane. It's not bad. But Ruggs, did you see this particular set shot of your boy, Frank Grillo, arresting Superman?
Rick Flag Sr.
He is playing Rick Flag Sr.
Geek boner.
And I guess Frank Grillo just likes to play characters who arrest superheroes.
We're all black?
Yes, and we're all black. That seems to be his thing. If he arrests Captain America.
He hates capes.
Also, it looks like he's being escorted by Black Noir for some reason. I think that's Ultraman. There's like a U on his chest, but he looks like Black Noir. Arresting Homer.
Who's the lady with the braids?
That's the engineer, I believe.
Oh.
So, a lot of things going on. Anthony, what do you think of Frank Grillo and Superman getting arrested? Didn't we see this in the other movie also?
Yeah, I feel like we did. I don't know. You know, it's just a random set photo. I will say though, even from this far away, the suit still doesn't fit him that well.
The thing
It's
about
kind of boxy.
it's boxy. The trunks, it's great that they have trunks, but they're like too low cut. It's cut weird around the thigh. Like it doesn't look right. I don't know what it is.
Makes me look like he's got grandpappy pants.
But again, it's gonna get touched up. It's gonna get smoothed out. It's gonna
look how slender Frank Grillo looks, and look how magnificent his hair
Frank
is.
Grillo's like 60, he's 59 now.
Yeah.
He looks good. Again, your boy Grillo, rest in Superman.
Who are you?
Who are you? Who are you?
Who
am I?
Who am I? I don't know who I am. Who are you?
I'm just here for the dick jokes.
We're all just here for the dick jokes, Frank. And we appreciate that you show up.
No one's going to understand that unless you just listen to us over and over, or you play that clip.
Nobody who's listening, Anthony, there's no new people listening. It's just people who always listen to this show. Lame. Our numbers have not changed.
Yeah, there's some truth to what Rick Boy speaks. That clip will be now in the beginning of this episode, so people will know what we're talking about. It.
When people listen to this episode and then hear us talk about it, it'll be like we time traveled and then went to the past to put in that clip. People are going to be confused. And they're like,
yes.
How did they know what just happened there? Did they not know that happened?
We are time shifters. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I don't know if we're at the beginning, the middle, or the end. It doesn't matter. We're going to take a break here, listener. Play some promos. Come back. We're going to get geeky and nerdy and horny after the break. So we talk about weird science right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
What's up? This is Brian, and I'm the host of Citizens of Pawnee, a Parks and Recreation podcast. That's right, a podcast dedicated to my favorite TV show, Parks and Rec. Every week I discuss my favorite things about the show, which include character breakdowns, episode rewatches, and other random facts and tidbits about the show. You can find me on Instagram at Citizens of Pawnee Podcast and listen wherever you get your podcasts now. You will literally love it.
Hey there, everyone. Brian here, host of TV Trivia Pod. It's a trivia-style podcast focusing on TV and movies. Listen in for questions like, what's the name of Michael Scott's screenplay? What do you say to view the Marauders map? And what's everyone eating in the post-credit scene of Avengers? Play along to TV Trivia Pod anywhere you get podcasts. And stay tuned for more trivia.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, there is a great way you can give back all this so-called entertainment we have been providing for almost 10 years now. Join our... Jesus. Yes, 10 years. We are in our 10th year. And we're always here every Wednesday. You can give back that kind of reliability by joining our Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
And you can support the show on a monthly and annual basis. And we need your support. It pays for the hosting costs, keeps the show coming out. We thank all our regular contributors for their continued support. But you can get stuff like access to an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early. Currently, you can listen to Anthony hate watch Star Wars shows, get his instant reaction to the Acolyte episodes, which are fantastic. We'll dive into that later. It's definitely worth the Patreon there. We also do a monthly Discord hangout, and you can come and hang out. It's always lots of fun. The July's hangout will be July 18th, 2024. And other fun stuff. There's a t-shirt. You can pick a movie for us to watch and review. Lots of fun things. Visit it. Check it out. Sign up. jockandnerd.com/Patreon. All right, let's get to the review. We are kind of in a little series here. It all started when I watched a documentary about the Brat Pack a couple weeks ago. That got Anthony intrigued, and then we're like, let's do a Brat Pack series. So then I got to pick, and I picked The Breakfast Club. And then Anthony, after that, you were like, I'm going to pick a movie.
Yeah.
A movie you hadn't seen, right?
That's correct.
What did you pick?
Well, we were on the Brat Pack theme, but then I was like, let's go Brat Pack tangential.
Yeah.
But stay with the John Hughes and go with Weird Science.
Weird Science.
Dun, 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 dun. Weird Science.
It's alive. Yes. That Weird Science 1985. I'm going to play spoilers. I don't know why.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Don't feel right until I play that. Yes, it's still, look, it's Brat Pack adjacent. It's Anthony Michael Hall adjacent. It's John Hughes adjacent. I definitely feel like it. Would you agree, Ruggs? Weird Science falls into the quote unquote Brat Pack movies.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Great. We're all in agreement.
There's only us two understand why that's funny.
Don't worry. Yes.
It is full on Brat Pack. It is also currently on the Hulu, so you can watch along.
It's John Hughes and then Brat Pack, tangent.
Yeah. And I mean, we talked about it last week. John Hughes, they owe a lot to John Hughes. He kind of created this whole genre, gets the vibe of the teens.
This was part of his first 3 movies that he released in like a year that he directed.
85. Yeah. So let's get to some of the numbers. Weird Science on Rotten Tomatoes. This one, 60% tomato meter, 69% audience score. Sweet. 69. 69, dude. This movie made for a little bit more than The Breakfast Club. $7.5 million. There's some special effects in here, right? It goes on to make $38.9 million in the box office. Not too bad. Again, written and directed by John Hughes, produced by Joel Silver, and 1985. So
Joel Silver.
Yes, this is a Hughes Silver production. Absolutely, which may explain some of the things in this movie if you think about it. But yes, John Hughes on a streak of, writing National Lampoon's Vacation, then directing 16 Candles, into Breakfast Club, Weird Science. We are in August of 1985, whereas Breakfast Club had come out in February. So 1985, big year for John Hughes. This movie stars, again, like I mentioned, Anthony Michael Hall as Gary. What is nerd number one? And Elon Mitchell Smith as Wyatt. Gary and Wyatt, your leads here. We have the incredibly beautiful Kelly LeBrock playing Lisa. The late Bill Paxton as Chet, Wyatt's brother. And you have as the bullies, one young Robert Downey Jr. as Ian, and one of the bullies, the other one named Max, played by Robert Russler. It's funny how you don't know who that other fucking guy is, but Robert Downey Jr. as the bully is crazy. You also have an appearance by Vernon Wells as a crazy mutant biker, kind of reprising his role from Mad Max Road Warrior, almost down to the same makeup and costume. Which is
that was him.
Yes,
it's him. It's Mad Max. All right, they've got that going on there.
But that's your main cast. The ultimate. It's a science fiction movie. It is a horny 80s teen comedy with our leads, Gary and Wyatt. Like I said, we're in August 1985. This one's rated PG-13. 1 hour and 34 minutes. Perfect 80s runtime. Anthony, this is the first time you watched this. What happens? Yeah. What happens in Weird Science? This is going to be great.
Oh, you've got 2 nerds in high school in Illinois. John Hughes loves suburban kids in Illinois, high schoolers, and they're basically nerds, losers. They don't get laid. They don't do anything. They just hang out with each other and sleep over at each other's houses.
Already relatable.
And one of the nerds is a real nerd, big time nerd, and has a supercomputer. So they somehow use this computer to create the woman of their dreams, played by Kelly LeBrock, and she becomes their number of different things to guide them through high school and becoming cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Weird
is.
Science.
It is. It is. Your Frankenstein meets 80s teen.
It's Frankenstein
comedy.
It's Frankenstein meets 80s meets wish fulfillment.
Meets the ultimate teenage wish fulfillment
teenage
movie.
boy wish fulfillment.
I mean, it's,
Teenage white suburban
yes,
boy wish
no,
fulfillment.
specifically white
Specifically,
suburban
yeah.
teenage boy. I mean, movie is a cult classic, and I've seen it many times, and it's wild. Also quotable, like Breakfast Club. Ruggs, what is your relationship history to Weird Science there?
I remember I saw Kelly LeBrock in this movie, and I was like, "Oh, I want to see her boobs," and then I didn't get to see her boobs.
No.
But we saw a guy's butt.
You get to see boobs.
Yeah, you do see boobs in this movie.
Yeah, you do see boobs, not hers, and you see Bill Paxton's ass. Yes.
Yeah, so you do see man
And
ass.
check.
Did the old switcheroo in this one.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, I was always down to watch a movie where you could possibly see a naked. This is when I was a teenager. This movie came out, so I was all about this. Didn't know anything about John Hughes at the time. I wasn't really. I knew about the Brat Pack, but nothing about John Hughes. I just knew that it was the new cool movie that everybody was talking about, and everybody I grew up with quoted this movie.
Oh yeah.
And I never really watched it all the way through.
Oh really? You just see like bits and pieces of it.
Yeah,
over and over
I think
again.
as soon as they got drunk and then like nothing happened,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, I'm out. I thought they were gonna be boinking this girl the whole movie.
Or was you just tossing yourself off with magazines in the bathroom while
Yeah,
you're watching
because that's the only.
I never tossed off, Mom.
Yo, I never tossed off.
Oh, Gary!
I never tossed off.
told me
I didn't toss off.
hair.
But we used to say that. I never tossed off.
Tossed off. Man, after that shower
the
scene,
water running all night.
after the shower scene, as a 12-year-old, you're done for a little bit. You got to pause the movie and then pick it up later. Anthony, so watching it with the lens of 2024 is going to be very interesting. What did you think? Weird Science.
Oh, I had a similar reaction to this because I like John Hughes. I've seen some of his films. He kind of has a style. They're all teenage kid, but they're all set in the real world.
Yeah.
And I had the same reaction to this as I did initially with John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay.
Where I went, wait a minute, this is fucking different.
Yeah.
This is weird. Like obviously, as the title says, like this is not in reality.
Yeah.
Like anything, like they're not. It's not even close to reality.
Yeah.
Similar to Big Trouble in Little China.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I watched it. There's a lot of things that there's no way this movie could get made now.
Oh my God.
There's
And
a lot of
PG-13.
very problematic things.
There's a couple of problematic things.
But I fuck with this movie. I liked it a lot.
Nice.
I enjoyed. I had a great time. I fucking loved it. I say I like it better than Breakfast Club.
I mean, I can see
in
that.
some ways.
Yes.
I think I have more fun with it than
Yes.
Breakfast Club for sure.
Yes.
Breakfast Club is probably. I mean, for all intents and purposes, is a better film. I think. But
Right.
this one is just this is fun. This is teenage wish fulfillment. I think what really, there's so many wacky things that happen, but I think what really makes it pretty solid and pretty good is the fact that like Kelly LeBrock isn't actually horrible in this movie.
No,
She's actually pretty decent. Like she's great to look at.
Yeah.
But you also, I believe that she's a robot woman that is, or I don't know what she is, but I believe it.
Well, you buy that
She's like a fairy god.
very
chick.
Yeah, she's
godmother.
like a genie. I don't even
it
know
is.
what.
It's
is
like
going-
I
what
Dream
she's
of
going-
Genie also, but you get that she's there for their best interests and she's good. She's
and,
loyal.
and there is like in a weird way, like she's kind of guiding them through high school and
Yeah.
making them understand things,
Yeah.
and I have always loved like raunchy teen comedies. Like American Pie is one of my favorites, Road Trip, like stuff from my generation I loved, and this reminds me sort of that. So I was all in.
You wouldn't have those movies if it wasn't for these movies. Like this is, the whole Brat Pack, these kind of raunchy movies brought it all back. You had like Revenge of the Nerds, but yeah, there's a direct line of this to like American Pie and shit. It is not your typical John Hughes movies. Like you said, his other ones are a little more grounded. This one gets wacky and goofy and cartoony, and it's so much fun. There's great lines. I love the opening scene where they get fucking pantsed. Like that's pretty relatable, right? And you see, it's Shermer High School. We are in Shermer High School again. So they're all in the same universe, but this is in its own little universe. I just want to mention the song you're saying, Weird Science. That's Oingo Boingo, another case of the song being the title and making it big. First of all, Oingo Boingo featured one Danny Elfman. We got Danny Elfman, the amazing composer from Oingo Boingo. But just like St. Elmo's Fire and Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, they all had songs that were the title. Ruggs, how cool was it that they were inspired by watching Frankenstein? I love that moment.
So they're watching Frankenstein. They're like, hey, we should make our own chick.
Why can't we do this and make it a woman? Sure.
I mean, listen, I enjoyed this because I remember when I was a kid and I saw this, that they were getting all the pornography and they were feeding it into the computer. Yes. And I was like, oh, and then but all of a sudden they're like feeding pictures of like other people. And I'm like,
Albert Einstein.
This chick's gonna look like Albert Einstein.
It extrapolated Albert Einstein's knowledge from a photo. It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know.
So great. So
there is. Let me jump in real quick though, because when they were doing that, I vividly remember as a kid having a computer.
Yeah,
and obviously the 80s, I wasn't around, but even in like the mid 90s, no one really understood what computers could do.
Yeah.
So I vividly remember telling my friends that you could draw pictures, throw them into the computer, and it would create stuff,
and it would make it a real thing.
And not a real thing, but you could make like
make the thing.
Stuff like. And this movie like takes me back to that time where people didn't know really like no one understood computers. Like no one like now you could you could feed stuff into the computer, but back then you really couldn't.
What they did was essentially train an AI model on information, and like what they've made, technically you could do that now. Not have a body, but you could make a whole woman talk to you. That's it's just kind of crazy that it actually happened. But the way they do it in the 80s is so hilarious and so funny. Yeah. You got the floppy disk.
There's an innocence to it where it's like you didn't know what the technology was or where it could go. And they just were kind of like, since we don't know what this really can do, let's just make up things it can do.
And you had this in the 80s a lot. Like War Games came out, I think, the year before. And that one, he almost starts a fucking Tron. Yes, there was the Tron. And that was amazing, dude. 80s, what people thought the computers were in the 80s was so fun. It was just so crazy and fun, and none of it is actually came true. Also, that leads to the next classic scene. Bras on the head, picking the boob size. These are classic scenes.
Why are we wearing them? They're ceremonial.
They're ceremonial. Fucking classic. It's so funny. You have to have them on.
The boob size are like, they made them gigantic, and they're like, no, anything more than a handful is
anything more than a handful is too much. It's so perfect. It's so great. So, and I love how they hack the government computer and they're flying through the thing. It's so silly and everything spins up.
Well, they hack the government computer and all of a sudden it turns into like a Frankenstein scene where like things are like moving and lightning's hitting and the house turns red.
There's a red storm. And so while they were doing this, they got hit by lightning. I guess that's why it happened. And they hook up a doll. Very important detail. And then, bro, that scene where that door flies open and Kelly Brock steps out. That is etched into my memory. She's so,
in the blue undies.
She's so fucking hot in this movie. And just like, you talk about teen wish fulfillment. Now that gets into, it's a little problematic. Now these are technically 15-year-olds and this is supposed to be like a 23-year-old, but she's not a real person. So whatever, because
but in real life, she is 10 years older. They are 15 or 16, and she's about 25.
And she does make out with Wyatt in that one scene a lot. And apparently, like
I wrote that down.
He got away. He got a little carried away and like stuck her tongue in his mouth. And she's like, "You fucking do that again, I'll kill you." Is what she told him. But how can you? She's 23. She's kissing. He was like 15 at the time. I was like, that's a lucky.
When I was watching that scene, I went, if I was 16 or under, I'd be like, that's an awesome scene. And I still kind of think it's funny.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wow, that's fucking weird now.
Well, let's get to
the 80s. Isn't it crazy 80s, that they fucking just did shit like that?
Because I don't think you could legally get away with that.
No, I don't know. How can you do that on a movie and it's fine? Anyways, let's get to problematic scene number one immediately. The showering scene. where the boys are standing there. And when they shot it, she wasn't like completely naked. I think she had like a bikini bottom on, but they're wearing their pants. But
I like they have their pants on.
That's so funny that they're wearing their clothes. But bro, when I saw this when I was a teenager, I was like, get the fuck out. This is just pause, rewind.
I don't know. I don't know if there was ever a scenario. I don't know if there was ever a scenario, and maybe you guys would disagree. But I don't know if there was ever a scenario in my life where I was like, I would totally go into a shower with a naked girl with another dude with me. As a straight man.
Well, to be fair, they just created a woman.
They created this thing, and she's perfect. And they're just.
And she asked them what they wanted to do.
Yes, what are you maniacs?
And it wasn't sex because that's naturally what a 16-year-old kid would probably.
Again, you couldn't make this today. You couldn't even I was like, what if you swapped it, right? Where it was like two girls who made a 23-year-old man. You couldn't do that either. Like all of this. So 80s.
No.
You could only get away with it in the 80s.
So it's strange because I feel like the average kid in the 80s was having sex about 16 years old.
Sure.
Like the average kid. But
I think that's Hughes' perspective is he's that kid that wasn't doing all that shit, but wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So he's making the films about things like he was experiencing. Because I think you're saying the average kid, but that would mean like
that there's an average that doesn't get laid till they're 25 or 26.
Exactly. There was half that weren't doing shit.
Yeah.
But wishing they were doing shit.
And there was people that were having sex like at 13.
Right.
So, which is fucking crazy if you think about it.
That leads to another scene that really I don't understand what's going on, but I'm laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't understand why freaking that's not Anthony Michael Hall, but the other character. What's his name?
Wyatt.
I don't understand how he ends up in her panties and why he's walking around with them.
The next morning, what did they do? Was there
something about aerobics or yoga?
Well, she showed him in a gymnastics routine.
Oh,
which I think is implying that she was doing a sexual thing for him, and he got off on it and decided he wanted to wear her pants.
Somehow he ends up in her clothes that she's wearing, and he's walking around, and then Wyatt sees it. It's hilarious. I mean, Chet sees it. Chet is great. But look, before that, one of my other favorite scenes is the bar scene when they go in the pink Cadillac and they drive.
Oh, that's problematic.
The bar scene there's so many quotable lines, starting with the one guy's like, "What do you see in him?" And she goes, "It's purely sexual." And then he goes, "What can I say, Dino? She's in the Malaccas." It's so funny, and they start laughing. And then when he gets drunk, bro, that is some of the funniest shit. My favorite is when he's like, I called it 15 times. The guy's like, on the telephone? He's like,
on the telephone?
What's the boy talking about on the telephone? How am I supposed to call somebody on the telephone? He talking about on the telephone.
Every damn night? On the telephone?
Every damn night. It's so great.
Well, the dude running the place is the janitor from Breakfast Club.
Oh, that's right. That is him.
And this scene is it's problematic as fuck. This scene is totally what white people thought.
Yes.
White suburban kids thought how black people talk.
I've heard a lot of people compliment that performance, though, saying that it was kind of authentic.
Compliment? Authentic for what?
Just the way he was talking and acting when he was all drunk.
I mean, that's how a kid would think. Yeah, a white suburban kid would think.
Yeah.
But he does that scene. He talks like that in Breakfast Club.
Yeah, a little screechy.
When he smokes the weed, he talks like that.
That's very similar because in that one he goes, "Chicks can't hold they smoke." That's what the problem is. In this
he does the same shit.
In this one he
just does a whole bit in it.
This one he's like, "Bitch, need me in the nuts." Do you know what this girl did? And then
he does 30 lines in the jive voice.
He's basically trying to do like Richard Pryor.
A little bit. Even when they leave in the car and he's drunk, he's like, "Give me the keys, I'll drive. Give me the keys." And it's so funny. His drunk Wyatt is hilarious. And then let's talk about Chet. We meet Chet. Bill Paxton almost steals every scene he's in. He's so fantastic and horrible to these kids, and he's such a great older fucking bully brother. Any favorite Bill Paxton moments?
I mean, he is a good character. I mean, I don't have any line specifically because I've only seen the movie yesterday.
Oh, that's a good point.
You definitely you hate him.
He's a good bad guy. Yeah.
He's a good asshole.
Yeah.
And he's also got the shittiest haircut I've ever seen in my life.
He did the flat top. Yes.
Hairline.
Yeah. He wanted to do a flat top. He did that, and he didn't tell John Hughes apparently, but it totally worked. It's perfect for his character.
When he first shows up, I'm like, I didn't know what was happening because I went, why is Kelly LeBrock's character not there? I was like, can they only see her?
Right.
I was basically like rooting for her to show up and already one up him, but then she does it later with him.
Yeah, they keep her secret for a little while. But then at the end, she's like, you boys get out of here. I'll take care of shit. And then turns him into, what is that? Is that a pile of poop she turns him into?
Yeah, he's like a shit monster.
He's a shit monster. It's amazing. It's so funny.
You spitting this?
and she gets him to promise to leave him alone. Turns him into a shit monster.
When he's trying to make him throw up.
Oh, yes.
Remember that?
Yes. And he's like, greasy pork sandwich. And then he starts heaving. It's great.
And it's served in an ashtray.
And then Gary is like, look at that haircut. Only an asshole would have a haircut like that. He's a fucking asshole. It's so funny.
My favorite scene in the movie where I was just rolling laughing is when Lisa is over at Gary's mom's
parents.
house.
Oh my God.
Trying to convince them to let him go to the party.
Yes.
And I mean, literally like from like the sex, drugs, rock and roll, like basic high school orgy, not talking candle wax on the nipples or anything like that too. Like their reactions to her, like talking about his sexual outlet being him tossing off in the bathroom to magazines.
I did not toss off.
And then her reaction just be like, "Oh, Gary,
it's so great." And then she pulls a fucking
about like he's
gun.
like, "I thought you were combing your hair."
It's so great. And she pulls that fucking gun on them, and you're like, "Bro, what do you do?" Oh my
she
God!
Pulls a gun on them.
Yeah.
The dad wanting to kick, like just everything going on in that
so
scene.
funny.
I'm just going. I was laughing the whole time.
So she mind wipes them to the extent where he doesn't even remember Gary anymore, which is kind of
this
funny.
is where you find out now she can mind wipe people.
So
she's got tons of powers that no one
I was keeping a list. Here's things Lisa can do. She can materialize anything, apparently. Like cars, whatever she needs, money. She can mind wipe people. We see her do that. She can pause or freeze people, as she does with the grandparents. Right. She can turn people into things like shit monsters. Anything else, she can kind of just do whatever she wants.
She can call upon characters from other movies to show up. The Mad Max characters that show up just to like prove that these guys are badasses. Because there's a specific line earlier in the movie where they mention Mad Max.
Oh, they do, don't they? Oh, yeah.
They mention Mad Max, and then later on, these characters from fucking Mad Max.
It's great.
Show up.
Yeah.
Including the fat dude in Commando.
Yes, that dude's there, and Vernon Wells. That's Vernon Wells, I think.
Right.
But that was wild. There's motorcycles in the house. The house is getting trashed. And not until the girls are threatened do they actually. First, they hide in the closet, which is hilarious. They're like, no. Like, we're just going to wait in here.
Well, you forgot that they summon a nuclear missile and then the naked lady and a piano get shot out of the fucking chimney. And no cops ever show up.
Where are the police?
Where's the Shermer police?
So after Lisa pulls a gun on Gary's dad, and it's a water gun, we learned, right? And that's an important detail. She's throwing this party because there was that whole mall scene, Robert Downey Jr. spilling the Slurpee on them.
Well, why is she throwing the party? You got to explain
She's
that.
throwing the party to make them seem cool, right?
Right.
Get some clout, some status so they can mingle. So it's hilarious. It's such an 80s comedy thing. Everybody shows up at once. They're just standing outside waiting to come in.
They open the door and there's just a sea of people.
There's a sea of people. They just run in and instantly just start trashing the place. Meanwhile, Wyatt and Gary are just hiding in the bathroom. They're like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Wyatt's sitting on the toilet like shitting.
I think is he actually shitting? I thought he was just.
He's like, if you gotta float an air biscuit, let me know.
He's like, I'll turn the fan on. It floated air biscuit. And then eventually the girls, the real love interests,
the real apples of their eyes.
Yes,
who are dating the guys that are bullying them.
Yes,
including Robert Downey Jr.
Yep, they're the ones who they want, and they're both in, and it's very awkward. They need to use the bathroom, and all four of them are just in the bathroom.
Well, I love that they're like, "Can you give us a minute?" And they're like, "Sure." And then they both go into the shower.
We'll be over here. That is so funny, and then when they look up, it's like these two different.
It's two different women that end up being in there. Once they like get the courage to be like, they want us. We should do something.
Yes. They're like, I'm getting a vibe. Let's do this. And so, all right. So the bullies, Ian and Max, go. They realize that Lisa is controlled by Gary and Wyatt, and they go to talk to them. At first, they want to trade women, which I was like, wow, this is very 80s. They're like, we'll give you the girls if you let us borrow Lisa. I was like, what the fuck? What does that even mean? So eventually they convince them to make another one. And now they're all wearing bras on their heads because it's ceremonial. You need to have that. And they fire up the machine, but they forget a very important detail as Lisa pops in to tell them they forgot to hook up the doll. I love this moment. I love why it's like, we forgot to hook up the doll. And instead, what you see between the electrodes is a cover of Time magazine with a nuclear missile on it, and a nuclear missile just comes out of the ground through the house. It's fantastic.
It comes out of the bedroom and in like the kitchen. And then at this point, I think the kitchen turns blue for some reason.
Oh, here's all the things that happen while this is the second time they have fired up this machine. There's the red storm has returned, lightning. The kitchen turns blue.
Everyone in there turns blue.
And all their clothes and everything turns blue. People in a framed photo come to life and start dancing. One dude gets stuck in the television, and there's an old man who's very entertained by this. Gravity is reversed. And then for some reason, things just start flying out of the chimney. This is very poltergeist. They get sucked out through the chimney. But like large things that go through it in one piece, like a couch will go through the chimney and will pop out in one piece, not destroyed.
And this is the scene where the playmate, like, clothes get ripped off because the wind is like pulling her.
This girl is sitting there playing the piano, I guess, at this party.
That's
what she was doing, right? And the piano gets sucked through and it's pulling on her. And this was a playmate of she was a centerfold, I think, a few years earlier.
You also gotta love the fact that all this crazy shit happens. Everyone's like, oh my God, what's going on? We gotta run. And then maybe like 2 minutes later, all that stops and everyone's still at the party.
Yeah, nobody left. Nobody left.
I think we can still start to keep drinking here.
But yes, we can stick around.
Bro, I love the 80s where in a PG-13 movie you can see boobies. So the girl gets all her clothes ripped off and she's completely naked being shot out through the chimney into the water, into the pool.
Oh yeah, she gets shot out of a cannon.
Hilarious.
She just lands in a random pond.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was water there.
I don't know what that was.
I was like, is she going to land on the concrete? What the fuck? Where did that water come from?
Yeah, what was that body of water there?
So then Lisa decides the boys need a challenge, a way to prove themselves as heroes, and brings in the Mad Max cast. Is great. And they fight him off. And
they ride a motorcycle through the house.
He's just trashing things up and down the stairs. It's fucking great. It's fucking great.
Then, I guess Gary pulls a gun on them.
Yes, which we thought was a water gun, and he's waving it around.
So Lisa made it into a real one.
Because she could do whatever needs to be done, and it was a loaded gun. So how do we end? Wyatt and Gary hook up with their girls in interesting ways, and it's kind of heartfelt, these little moments. I thought it worked. Chet, in the meantime, comes home the next morning. Was he out all night hunting that one duck that he had in his hand?
He was hunting, yeah.
All night long in his camo thing. And he goes up to his room with the shotgun and it's snowing in his room. That's also hilarious. And then he just points a loaded gun at these dudes' heads. And you know it's loaded because he's
hitting the girl in the face with the gun.
They're both in bed with their girls. He shoots the door off. I'm like, holy shit, that's a loaded shotgun. And he's just pointing right at them. This is great. And at which point, that's when Lisa's like, you guys take the girls home. I'm going to take care of Chet. And then they have nice cars. And for some reason, they have to put in the scene where Gary outruns the cops. I guess to impress his girl.
Yeah, it's to impress her. Yeah.
That was it, right? I was like, what is this? What's the point of this? Wyatt does the I love you and the sprinklers go off. Gary confesses to not being that cool. And she's like, I like you for you. And he's like, that's what I want. Chet's a big pile of shit. But now he will leave Wyatt alone. And the boys have to have a talk with Lisa because they have found girlfriends. But just like a horny Mary Poppins, she knows what's up. She knows that her job is done. It's a little Mary Poppins, too, this story.
Yeah, it's
like a teen, sexy Mary Poppins. She knows her job is done and poof, goes back into the bathroom and disappears into smoke. And then perfect 80s contrivance ending. Everything just magically gets sucked back in and reset just as his parents show up. So they can be like, what you guys do? And they were like, nothing, just hung around.
Just tossing off in the bathroom.
Just tossing off in the bathroom. However, we are left with the last scene of Lisa apparently is now the gym teacher at Shermer High School for the boys. As we see a pan of her to the Rocky theme song, I believe, was playing in the background.
She likes helping nerds.
Yeah. That's weird. So she can be around? They go to school there?
Yeah, I don't know. There was a random ass ending. It was just like,
yes.
all these boys are hornballs, and now you've got a you got the all-time gym teacher.
The best gym teacher ever. Everybody's going to be wanting to take that class. So, yeah. How much of this movie is problematic now? You said, I don't think that was
all of it. That was I don't care.
Yeah, most of it, but it's still fucking
because guess what? It's not real. It's a movie.
Yeah,
it's a fantasy. It's not. It's stupid.
But it's still
everybody. No one sit there and going, "Hey, this is how a person should act."
It is a cult classic.
It's a product of its time.
Yes.
Like I can tell you for sure, from the age of 12 to 15 or 16, I had some pretty wild thoughts going through my head.
Absolutely.
So like this isn't that far off base of what teenage boys think about, especially back then.
Yeah.
So it's a wild movie. It's a movie that there's no way would ever get made and be released in the mainstream now.
Yeah.
But it's fun as fuck. There are some problematic things, but it's told from the perspective of John Hughes as a suburban child, growing up in the suburbs of Chicago as a teenager, a white teenager, and just being a pervert loser.
Yes.
These are all these things are like things he probably experienced or had friends experiencing.
Yeah, there's certain quality.
And this is just taken to like the extreme degree.
That's the thing, is as wacky and like out there and science fiction-y as it is, there are so many things that you can relate to with these characters, and there's like this underlying heart that he has in a lot of his things.
I would say this movie doesn't have a ton of heart.
No, it's a little mean.
It's a little not mean. I'm just saying it's a little more. It leans more raunchy than
it's silly.
Yeah,
it's
raunchy. So I got a couple of interesting things about this movie. John Hughes wrote this movie in 2 days. Can you tell? Very quickly. But while he was working on it, he wasn't really happy while making it. He only made this because he made them promise that he could direct Breakfast Club. He's like, I'll do this if I could do Breakfast Club.
Well, didn't he? I might have saw this somewhere, but wasn't a lot of the lines just improv or done on the spot?
Breakfast Club? Yes, there was a lot of improv in Breakfast Club. A lot of those scenes, but that was like his passion project, right? And then this one was just like something he had to do. He was kind of working on both movies at the same time. After this movie, John Hughes and Anthony Michael Hall had a falling out and didn't talk to each other. They did like 3 movies in a row. I don't know what happened. They just didn't want to work with each other. In this movie and Breakfast Club, Anthony Michael Hall's character claims to have a girlfriend in Canada. Did he say that in this movie also?
He did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So both of the movies he does that. Anthony Michael Hall bailed on National Lampoon's European Vacation. He played Rusty, the son, Rusty Griswold in the first movie. He bails on the sequel that came out around the same time, causing the thing where every National Lampoon's movie, they just recast the kids. And now it's like a running joke. But he wanted to do this. You know why? He got top billing for this movie. He was paid twice as much as the other guy. Played Wyatt. Shermer, Illinois, we mentioned, same as Breakfast Club and Ferris Bueller. Lisa, named after the original Apple computer. One of the models was the Apple Lisa. Kelly LeBrock was not their first choice. She was their first choice. She didn't want to do it. They hired this other model named Kelly Emberg and even shot like a couple of weeks with her, and it wasn't working out, and they begged Kelly LeBrock to do it. And she agreed finally.
The movie again really rests on Kelly LeBrock.
Absolutely.
I think she's actually really good in it.
I was surprised because I was like, I think she was a model and an actor, but she has the chops. Like she pulls it off. I feel like
she was in a movie with Gene Wilder called The Woman in Red.
Oh yes, she was super,
and you see it all in that movie.
She was the Woman in Red. Now alternate casting, we could have had again, same as last Breakfast Club. Demi Moore, Robin Wright. Both auditioned for the role of Lisa, but I think Kelly LeBrock is...
Well, Kelly LeBrock's got the weird English accent thing going on too, which I didn't realize is actually, she is half part English.
Yeah.
So I was like, is she doing a bit here? And it's just a horrible bit.
It's a sexy accent also. It just works.
Yeah, but then it actually kind of works to make her seem more robotic.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just a little more exotic also. Right. So Anthony Michael Hall went on to have a great career, right? We talked about how like he disappeared for a while and he shows up in Edward Scissorhands and he's like huge and jacked, just completely transformed. I didn't even recognize him. The other guy, Wyatt, Elon Mitchell Smith, didn't do a lot. He retired from acting. He is a professor of English at Cal State Long Beach. He's a teacher. I think he has a degree in medieval studies. So this is his big role here. Weird science. There was a TV show.
I heard about this.
Vanessa Angel.
Vanessa Angel played Lisa, and it was Gary and Wyatt. It ran for 5 seasons, from 1994 to 1998. I barely remember this.
I mean, it does. It is a little bit weak because it's a TV show and they can't do as much.
I heard it was pretty good, though.
It captured the essence of the movie.
Well, they did. I saw somewhere when I was doing my research that the TV show, they play up more that it's like genies type thing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Than someone they created.
Oh, like I Dream. Yeah, because it's a little I Dream of Genie. Same kind of premise. And technically, this is kind of a comic book movie. It's named after the classic EC comics from the 50s, Weird Science. And in fact, there was a similar short story in one issue called Made of the Future. And it kind of happened. He didn't really base it on there, but they went ahead and bought the rights for the thing. Joel Silver, I believe, owns the rights to like all the EC Comics things also. So it's kind of a comic book movie. Another fun story, Robert Downey Jr. apparently left a shit in one of the actress's trailers. It was long rumored to be Kelly LeBrock's, but it wasn't, but it was one of the other actors. Because, this was the time where he was gaining this reputation.
Well, he was only about 18 or 19 years old.
Doing lots of coke.
Yeah, he was young and there was lots of drugs. That's both true. And also, one final follow-up. In the 1985-86 Saturday Night Live season, joining the cast that season for 1 year, Anthony Michael Hall, Robert Downey Jr. But they were only on...
I saw that too. I saw that on the Joe Blow. I don't know if you're getting this stuff from that.
Yeah, a couple different places.
Joe Blow, they said... They mentioned that on the YouTube channel. They said that's considered one of the worst seasons of SNL.
It was a bad cast. Did not work out for them. That was when Lorne Michaels wasn't there, I think, and they were going through. Yeah, that was like the dark times. It was just not good. And then not until I forget who shows up a couple years later, like after the Eddie Murphy, I think there was kind of a lull. So yeah, I still think this is a great cult. It's the ultimate fucking teen fantasy. Cult 80s teen movie.
This is the type of movie where like you can't just show this to anybody.
Yeah.
You kind of gotta know someone to you got to know what they're like.
Yes.
Like there's no way I just throw this on with a girl I'm dating. You gotta be like, do you fuck with this? Like you gotta know prior that this person's kind of a perv, that they in their heart they've got something going on in them. They want to go back to like their
it's just they don't have a stick up their ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're just they can take a joke and not take it seriously.
Right. But yeah, this is the type of movie where if you show it to the right person, they'll like it a lot.
Yeah.
They'll appreciate it. But if you show it to the wrong person, it'll go terribly wrong.
That's true for a first time watch now. These days, yeah. You have to make sure the person is gets the genre and the time period and has a sense of humor.
And has in the past enjoyed raunchy teenage movies.
Let's watch Just One of the Guys next.
Oh my God. Well, who was in that one?
Nobody from the Brat Pack, but that's another great high school movie.
So they were trying to, I read another story, they were trying to reboot this or remake this around the time The Hangover was popular, when R-rated comedies were kind of becoming a thing again. There was a plan to remake this. It may have worked during that time frame. But I think we've established you can't make this today.
Well, it was going to be Joel Silver.
Yes, again.
Michael Bacall, who wrote Scott Pilgrim versus the World, 21 Jump Street, Project X, was going to write it, and they were going to have Channing Tatum be the star of the movie.
Oh, yes, because he was having a moment then too. Yeah. I don't know. I think you leave this movie. It's great where it lives.
I don't know what you would do though. If they were to remake it. I don't know. I don't know how you could do it.
They kind of remade it with Joaquin Phoenix and Her, where he falls in love with the voice. That's kind of what happened.
Come on. Everybody.
I mean, it's not raunchy, but in terms of the premise, but people creating full fucking AI models and robots now. It's no mannequin.
Who is the girl Is there a girl that like if you let's take out all the problematic stuff.
Yeah.
If there was a girl that you would cast to be the one to be the robot at this point, who would it be?
So you could.
Who is the girl right now?
Shit. You know what? The first person popped.
I should probably answer this because
this is not right now. It's a little bit yesterday, but the first person popped into my head. And we were thinking hot British. What was Elizabeth Hurley?
Oh yeah,
that would work in a similar way.
Yeah, they did that with her in the Austin Powers.
Right, that's what I was thinking of. Yes,
she was in that movie where she was the devil, and she did pretty much a similar thing. Bedazzled, it was called.
Who is the current? Who would be?
I'm looking at I just looked up the hottest women right now.
Like I think Sydney Sweeney would be too young for this, right? You need maybe I don't know. It's like you got to think of 14, 50-year-olds these days, what they're like, and
yeah, well, Sydney Sweeney would be of the right age for sure.
Yeah, I guess you would.
I mean, Jennifer Lawrence seems like to me one of the ones that would have been.
Oh, sure,
something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, she did do a movie where she's banging a teenager.
Well, see, I feel like she would do it and be good at it, and like because she does, she
can actually act.
She can act. She gets the comedy. She did the full frontal and back nude scene in that one movie. That was amazing.
Oh yeah, she would do something like this.
Like I could see her being good.
Well, Margot Robbie.
Oh my God, Margot Robbie is Barbie. That's
what's her name?
Margot Robbie would be great. She's too big for this.
What about what's her name? The one that, but she was just in the James Bond movie.
Oh, Anna de Armas.
Yeah, Anna de Armas.
Anna de Armas might be good too. Yeah, you're like, yeah.
She's got the accent too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Amelia Clarkson.
Amelia.
Is it Amelia? What's her name? Amelia Clark. Yeah.
Daenerys?
She's too innocent looking.
She's too stuck up to do that.
I don't know, we've seen Daenerys naked though. Like the shower scene would be amazing.
Olivia Wilde back in the day would have been good.
Oh sure.
Probably. But yeah, like there's a lot of.
I guess there's a lot. There you could do this with a lot of different women. I don't know. I really feel like Kelly LeBrock was a pretty awesome.
She was great.
Not only great to look at.
Yeah.
Like great 80s hair, but like I believed it.
Yeah,
she had a presence.
Yeah, she carries the movie.
She had a thing
along with them.
But she was in that movie with Steven Seagal.
Oh God, was it Hard to Kill?
Yeah.
Well, she was in Hard to Kill. Oh my
and
God.
she was in Woman in Red.
She's Woman in Red.
She was in Hard to Kill, she was playing his love interest while she was dating him. And one of my favorite things about Hard to Kill, when I listen to the rewatchables with Bill Simmons, they keep complaining how the sex scene that Seagal has with the girl that's playing his wife that's not Kelly LeBrock is hotter than the sex scene he has with his own wife.
Oh, no.
They're like, why does he have like less chemistry with his own wife?
Yeah, that was the next movie she did 5 years later. Hard to Kill.
Is that the next one?
Yeah. So she didn't really do a lot. She's still around.
Yeah, she was a thing.
No, Kelly LeBrock is 80s pinup poster girl.
Who do you like more amongst the two boys?
I mean, Anthony Michael Hall is really funny. I think he's really funny.
He's got something.
Yeah,
he's working it. He's got the.
There's a reason that he worked with him 3 times.
Yeah, he's got the lines. I love when he kind of stumbles over his lines, and it's very natural. The other guy was
he's like the nerd that is that's like the risk taker nerd.
Yes, the cool fast talking nerd. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other nerd is like the one that's like, "Well, my parents, I can't do anything."
Yeah, he's the stressed out worrywart. Right. And the other one is like, "Come on, loosen up."
But then it's just such a weird juxtaposition that the other guy's that kind of nerd, and then he's wearing her panties. It just throws me off so much.
It's quite an image.
Yeah, it was a little on the nose.
That scene reminds me of like what you would see in like Airplane, where it's just like you cut and it's like a random scene of a dude like doing something weird, and it's like, what just happened here?
Yes, you're like, what is that? Why is that egg coming out of his mouth? Or there, why is there just boobies? You just pan across and there's boobies. Okay, Anthony, final thoughts. Give me a number.
This was the type of movie I fuck with for sure. It's a little crazier than I like to fuck with, but I still fuck with it.
Yeah.
I like it more. I had a better time watching this than Breakfast Club. I also still find Breakfast Club to be even more problematic than this in some ways. But I could see why, Breakfast Club is considered, the better movie.
Yeah.
This is just a lot of fun. Again, you got to have the right mindset. You got to be, as Rugg says, you can't have a stick up your butt. You can't be a fart sniffer watching this type of movie. But if you go into it and you enjoy raunchy teen comedies and you can think back and disarm yourself and be like, there was a point in my life where I thought like this as a boy. You'll enjoy it, and I enjoyed it, and I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Especially since you're not going to see shit like that anymore.
Yeah, it's of its time, and it's fantastic. Ruggs, what number would you give it? Final thoughts?
Well, it's a good movie. It's fun. It is a raunchy movie with good lines and, Kelly LeBrock and the whole fun of creating your own girl. I think that they, I when I was watching this, when I was a kid, I wanted them to do so much more than they did.
Yes.
And I was like, why are they? But now as an adult, you understand they went way too far.
Yes, they didn't know what they were doing.
When you're a kid, you want more. And then when you're an adult, you're like, no, cut it out. You're doing too much. So it's kind of a weird dichotomy how I have this movie. I think it's like a 7.
Yeah.
And if you want to watch movies for raunchy stuff, there's way more raunchy movies to watch from the 80s that are just even more depraved. This is that's what I'm saying. Like in the grand scheme of movies I was watching on Cinemax or HBO late at night in the 80s, this is one of the tamer ones. So, it's still great though. Still, this is probably the one you could probably watch with your parents or your dirty uncle,
I felt like this movie was underrated for a while. Like it slipped. It would often get confused with that one Real Genius that also came out 1985.
Oh, Real Genius is great too.
With Val Kilmer. And I think I would get it confused sometimes. And like this one I felt was underrated. I'll give it an 8. I fucking love this movie. I love the lines. I still quote some of the lines. On the telephone? Every day and night.
Telephone.
We forgot to mention one more bit that I enjoyed throughout was after she mind wipes the parents.
Yeah.
I love that the mom remembers what her son's name is and the dad has no fucking clue.
Like, who the hell is Gary?
I love it at the end too when they speed across. She's like, that's something along the line. She's like, that looks like Gary. And he's like, who the hell is Gary?
Who's this Gary guy? Oh, he's never going to remember. It's great.
That and the catatonic grandparents just stuck in the cabinet.
They're just frozen. They're resting. It's fine.
Like the 80, like I feel like there's so many weird. With you guys now. I've watched so many movies from the 80s where I'm like, how the fuck do they who thinks of this?
Yes,
what?
Right. There used to be original ideas and fucking wacky shit,
but they don't even have to be good ideas.
No,
they just throw them in film. They're just like, oh, let's film that.
They just said, let's fucking make it.
Yeah,
and then you watched it.
Oh, it was Joel Silver.
That's what they did. They just said, we're fucking making it.
He's like, here's the money. Go make it.
Go fucking make it.
They just do a mountain of blow. And they just
what do you need? A giant shit puppet? Here's $4,000.
They get the investor like a bunch of whores, so he agrees to fund the movie, and that's it. And that's how things were done back in the day.
Speaking of let's just make it that shit scene.
Yeah.
So apparently, I saw this yesterday too. Paxton was in the suit.
Right.
He was supposed to play that, but then he was like overheating.
Yes.
So then they hired 2 little people to go inside the suit.
I read that too. And they dubbed over the voice. But like, I can't believe they were going to put him in that. You don't even need a person. It's just all robotics. The thing was so cool. And then just the weird detail where he eats the fly, his tongue shoots out and burps. And he's like, oh God. He's all embarrassed. It's so weird. It's great.
Well, so now that we've watched 2 Hughes movies.
Yes.
Because I asked this when we were talking about the Brat Pack, but I'll ask it again. What is John Hughes's magnum opus?
Oh, the magnum opus. So you mean just as a director or stuff he's written?
We'll go as a director, and then what do you think is his favorite? What's your favorite film that he's been a part of?
Okay, so again, here are the directed movies by John Hughes: 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, She's Having a Baby, Uncle Buck, Curly Sue. Now, I'm kind of torn. Man, Ruggs, which way would you lean if you had to pick one?
I'd say Ferris Bueller Day Off.
See, I'm torn between that and Breakfast Club. I really am. But Ferris Bueller.
No, but Ferris Bueller is a movie.
It's a perfect. It's almost. It's a perfect movie.
Fucking incredible. He's in Chicago.
Yeah.
He's singing on a fucking parade float.
There's stakes.
He's driving a Ferrari.
Yes.
He's at the museum. He's at the baseball game. His fucking sister is the girl from Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
And the principal. My favorite shot of the principal is when he's running down the hall and then he stops in front of the doors and pretends he's walking and he starts running again.
Every time
he
crosses
stops at the door.
Yeah, it's great.
Like there's just great moments like that. And
He's a righteous dude.
I think that
it's a classic.
the whole thing with I'll go.
It's a classic. Cameron.
Shit.
Yeah.
Bueller.
Yeah,
I mean,
Bueller.
classic.
I never had one lesson. I say that all the time.
And again, you want to talk about teen wish fulfillment? It's another one where you're like, "This is what I want. This I wish I was Ferris Bueller."
You got Mia Sara in there. I can't even say her name. Mia Sara. She looks great. She's smoking hot in this movie.
Post credit scene too.
Oh yeah, very early. Great post credits.
They copy that in
It's
Deadpool, isn't
over.
it?
Go home. It's over. The movie. It's so great. Like that. Nobody ever did that shit. And then the whole.
Did he convince you, Imran? Or are you
I think
still
so.
Breakfast Club?
I think Ferris Bueller has to be out of the directed ones. That's got to be it.
I mean, that's got a big staying power too, because even though that movie could be a little problematic, it's still nowhere near. It's like still
That's
safer
true.
than.
Oh yeah, I think it still plays very well today. If you think about it. Anthony, what do you have a pick? Do you have a?
I haven't seen enough of them, so
okay.
I'm going to hold off. Although,
Okay.
as a kid, and this is not something he directed, but Home Alone is like an all-time.
Yeah. Now, if we're talking about written by, then that I don't know if that changes
or what he's associated with.
Associated with, yeah.
I am now kind of on a John Hughes kick, so I might watch some more of his films.
Oh, all right. Well, let's do some quick news from the nation and talk about some TV shows. Here we go. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks.
Well, it's an extended remix. I like that one. So we're just going to use this to kind of slide into what are we watching now. As I mentioned, if you sign up to our Patreon, you will be treated to weekly instant reactions of Anthony hate watching The Acolyte. A lot of people enjoying this. Jesse Rodriguez, one of them, he left a photo and a comment. He says, "For Anthony, I hope you can't unsee this. By the way, love the hate watch posts on Patreon. Keep them coming." And he posted an image of a split shot of May from The Acolyte and Rick James, and they have the exact same haircut.
Oh, shit.
Yes. She's definitely I'm Rick James. I'm Rick James.
She's American girl.
Always want to say hi to mother. I'm Rick James, bitch. Yeah.
Can I ask you one quick Rick James aside?
Yes.
Because all I know Rick James from is the Chappelle stuff. Like
Yes.
I have no connection to Rick James other than that.
Yeah.
How big was he really? Was he like a big
He had
deal?
like a couple years where he was top dog. Yeah.
Was he like Michael Jackson and Prince level?
Well, he was more of like the kind of too sexy for TV type guy.
Oh.
So he was always like clouded in like mystery and like
Very edgy. Yeah.
edgy. He was gonna like show up with like a bunch of hookers and stuff like that. He was crazy.
So,
Wild man.
Before the Chappelle thing, what I knew about Rick James was a super freak, and the fact that he did a lot of drugs, and then he had a woman hostage in like a basement cell for a while, and got in trouble, and that's what I knew about Rick James. But I believe in the 70s, he was probably late 70s. He was huge.
Well, he was hanging out with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
That is a real thing. He
That's
was
true.
friendly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and he's there in the bit too, right? They have the actual Rick James talking, which is great. But yeah, outside of Super Freak, I don't know. It was more maybe in the I don't know funk music.
I guess 70s, early 80s.
Yeah,
was like his time.
Yeah, I would say late 70s.
And then so what happens though? MC Hammer kind of gives him a little boost with "You Can't Touch This" as he used the sample.
I mean, the hair on this
From Super
man
Freak.
is just.
So do you
I don't
think?
even know what to make of that.
Do you think when they were making the Star Wars show, they're like, "Hey, we want a character that has the same hair as Rick James"? I mean, that could be her father. Rick James.
As Jesse said, you can't unsee
you
that.
can't unsee it. Oh, man. Rick James should be May and Osha's father. That's hilarious. Anyways, okay. Thank you, Jesse Rodriguez. Let's roll into what are we watching, Anthony? Episode 5, Acolyte.
Yeah, I watched it.
Look, before you get into your rant, I'm just going to say this was a little bit of an improvement. More than a little bit. It's quite an improvement. As the episode featured majority of awesome lightsaber hand-to-hand battles. However, anytime anybody speaks, it instantly gets bad. This is still
the action sequence in this show, in this particular episode. It was basically okay.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, I'm not going to. Am I going to spoil something?
No,
but anyway, it is what they should be giving us since the get.
This is what I came for. Was fucking
this
lightsaber
is what we all
battles.
showed up
Holy
for.
shit.
Is something like this that's just visceral and fun to watch, and just about good versus evil and that type of stuff. But then the poor writing comes in, and the confusing things that happen from the one previous episode to the next, contradicting themselves. It feels like they either reshot this and changed everything in the direction that they were going in. I don't know. Just very, very choppy, and it's just poorly written.
Yeah. I agree. I would say it's the best episode of the series.
Absolutely.
But
that's not saying
when. I mean,
but it still has glaring problems.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you think about anything. First off, the acting is still very CWE.
Yeah.
And then, when you think about like you can't even really write down what motivates any of the characters.
No.
Like there's nothing in here that you go, I understand where this person is coming from and it makes sense and I understand what motivates them. Like
it doesn't make sense because, okay, let's just break this down. Let's try and give them as much credit as possible.
Yeah.
All right. So now here's some spoilers areas. So I'm going to say the, what's her name? Mia is the bad one.
May is the bad one. Osha is the good one.
So May is the bad one. So she evidently, when they were little kids, she knows something that it can expose the Jedi, right? But she never says it. And she never, if this is your whole thing to get revenge on the Jedi, why are you waiting to expose them? Like, just tell your sister. Just tell anyone. Talk, tell it to them. Like, why are you, I don't understand, what's the big plan here?
Yeah, I don't know where it's going.
And didn't she, what's weirdly weird too is the last episode, she has a change of heart. She goes, I'm not going to kill them anymore.
You're going to turn herself in?
Turn myself in.
Yes.
And then this episode, she's fighting with them.
Instantly flips.
She immediately, as soon as she can, she starts fighting them.
I was like, I thought you were going to hand yourself in, and she's going after all of them. But it's confusing because the master is trying to kill May. Saul is trying to save May while May is trying to kill them. But they're also trying to save her. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But I will say the fight scenes were fucking amazing. This dude is a badass. The Jedi shish kebab where he has one on the saber and force pulls another one. That was dope.
They're good fight scenes.
Jackie actually was able to hold her own with this motherfucker, and then she had 2 lightsabers, and then he had a split lightsaber. The introduction of this, there's a metal, Anthony, called cortosis, and it's a very rare metal in Star Wars, and what it does...
It's very hard to find.
It shorts out lightsabers. He has it.
Right.
So when he started headbutting fucking lightsabers, I was like, oh, shit.
Geek boner.
Oh, this is what I came here for.
But the thing is it's a cool, don't get me wrong, it's cool. It's a cool fight scene. I was not thoroughly entertained because I still hate Star Wars, but I was entertained. But there's no long-term planning, right? Like if there was this metal on this helmet,
yeah,
why haven't we seen that since?
Because it's rare. I don't know.
Wouldn't they have been like, oh fuck?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't. They just don't introduce it well.
They may not even know.
Like, they should have been like there should have been a point where they mentioned that something. Like they should have had that come into play earlier in the story so they could talk about that metal.
Well, speaking of not introducing stuff, this is something I saw from under review. Again, I'm not, don't understand the significance of this, but they were basically like, shouldn't the Sith reveal been a big thing? Like, shouldn't they have been like, this is like, he just is like, well, I'm a Sith.
You could call me Sith Jedi, like you would call me.
Isn't there a prequel where they're like the Sith haven't existed for 100 years or something?
And that's what that penis head Jedi Ki-Adi-Mundi said in Phantom Menace, and he was in the last episode. Meaning, look, he slaughtered all those Jedi. If still nobody knows that this guy called himself Sith, none of these people are going to survive.
How shitty are the Jedi at policing? Like they just leave all their dead on one planet.
Oh my god,
and
he killed all of them.
Right.
So like let's extrapolate how this doesn't work. So obviously, like the green lady up back at Coruscant who runs the Jedi shit.
Yes.
She knows shit.
Yes.
And she knows that's going on. So she doesn't investigate it or she just lets that team die without trying to figure out what the fuck happened.
She's got secrets.
Oh, there's somebody killed all the Jedi with a sword.
Yeah.
It's a rogue Jedi, aka a Sith. That would have been something that they remembered.
Right.
So it's not like something happens and nobody knows it. This is something that they sanctioned. They told them they know all the ins and outs of this. So either the conspiracy goes all the way up to all the Jedi and they're covering it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. And if you're saying that that's happening with the Jedi, then you're really trying to deconstruct the Jedi to a point where it can't come back. Like it's never going. Like there's no possible way that Yoda could have been a good guy or Obi-Wan or anybody because now the Jedi are a complete fucking disgusting organization.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're doing that. How does that work with the rest of it? It doesn't.
Well, speaking of shitty policing, I wrote it down. I might have mentioned it on the review, my shit review, or my crap, but bears mentioning again. The girl that plays X-23,
Daphne Keane, Jackie, she died.
Jackie, well, she dies, but I mean, you had to. I just couldn't stop shaking my head when she puts one cuff on the girl, and starts reading her rights.
Cuff the other
and it's
one.
like, and then she like starts punching her, and I'm like, how fucking stupid are you? Fucking put both of the handcuffs on you, on her,
gets them out
before
eventually.
you tell her what her charges are.
Yeah.
Don't put one goddamn handcuff.
That is a rookie cop mistake right there. Come on.
That's just, it's just not even rookie cop. It's just like, do you like to make people look like imbeciles? Like, that's not a rookie cop thing. That's just, you're writing these characters to be stupid.
Well, she is a Padawan though. Like she's in training. So
I know, but
he should have.
Would you ever grab someone's before? Okay, let's say you're trying to disable someone.
Right.
You grab one of their arms.
Yeah.
Would you stop midway and go, I'm disabling you for
you must stop
XYZ crime? No, you would pin them down first. Yeah. You might not even tell them what
you explain later.
Doing until you explain it later.
Explain later. Poor Jackie, and you're getting his neck snapped like a punk. Jesus.
And then at the end, so like we're doing this whole May redemption thing. I don't understand why we're redeeming.
I don't understand where the show's going. She cuts off her hair with a convenient lightsaber haircut.
Well, the haircut's whatever. It's stupid, whatever. But like, she's a changed person. Let's do what Rug Boy's doing. We're extrapolating this out. She's met her sister. Yeah. She is motivated to change because of her sister.
Yeah.
Yet now, and she was.
What's happened? What's the catalyst for her to change?
Unclear.
Nothing.
Unclear.
Okay. Unclear. Yeah. But the prior episode, she wanted to turn herself into the Jedi. Now she sees her sister. She's been fighting the Jedi the whole time. She somehow knocks her sister out. And her sister, who's the person she loves, and I guess she'd wanted to like see again because she thought they died in a fire or whatever. She like leaves her unconscious to
take her place.
To take her place.
Why?
And then like, why? Yeah, like what is the reason for this? Yeah. Then, like, the Jedi that has her, the Squid Game guy, like, I'm pretty sure, like, you can read minds,
Wouldn't you know? Basil knows.
Wouldn't you, like, sense that this is a different... there's twins.
Yes.
She's got a tattoo on her head.
Yes.
Right.
She should know.
The first two episodes, he was all like, there's no way it was Osha. It was her twin.
Jedi, bro. You can't
he had this whole inkling that, like, Osha, who is, like, that it was the evil twin that did it. But, so, like, he knows... Like, he knows there's two twins. He can read minds. He can probably force sense that this is a different person.
Yeah.
He's just a fucking idiot, and he just lets her on.
Who knows? The little tracker.
And I have no idea why she's there. I have no idea.
Her her goal is, according to this story, is to expose the Jedi. So she wants to get back to Coruscant and expose them, kill them, whatever. And she's just using her sister's identity. I think maybe that's why she wanted to turn herself in.
Because now, remember, he's like, I just wanted a pupil, and now is he going to train Osha, and they switch sides? And
right. He wanted a Padawan of his own, right?
Is he going to brainwash her or program her to be against the Jedi, and maybe May is now sympathetic to the Jedi? Is that what they're doing?
Well, like, May is now leaving her sister, who apparently she loves.
With that dude who's bad. He's clearly not a good person. Okay,
it just makes no sense.
And then the other big thing is the revelation of Khmer being the master, the most anticlimactic thing. They telegraphed the shit out of this. And I don't know why. It was so obvious.
It's the only other male character.
But they wrote themselves in a corner. There was no good way out of this. Because if they do that it's Khmer, we're all going to be like, that was fucking predictable. If they do it that it's some other random person, I would have been like, who the fuck is this guy now? All of a sudden, that's just in here. Like, they just wrote themselves into a corner, and the Khmer thing was so telegraphed. It's wild. But
he also berates her for not killing the Jedi without any weapons, and then is the one that provided her the weapon. Like, it's just...
Well,
yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
So that also confused me. I thought when they said you got to kill a Jedi without a weapon, I thought that meant she can't use a weapon. But I think what they mean is she needs to kill an unarmed Jedi. The Jedi has no weapon. She has to. I don't know, but none of that makes sense, and I don't get it.
But why? Because he's training her to do that to get the Sith powers.
3 episodes left. I don't know if they can.
There's literally no, like, Osha or May seems like she's the main character.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Yeah,
and I still have no idea. Like, every episode, she is written to be a different person.
How come she's flip flops like nobody's business, bro? She's flip flopping all over the place. I don't get it. I don't understand.
And that's not even like written into, like, there's some characters that are written to be cunning and like manipulative and change personality, but that's not it's not written with that depth. It's literally just like, this episode she's motivated by this.
Yeah, it's very thin, inconsistent. I don't get it. But I can't believe that the action scenes are so good despite all that garbage. Like, hand-to-hand combat in Star Wars, you'd hardly see that. I thought it was one of the better lightsaber battles I've seen in a lot of Star Wars, and like just don't have them talk.
It was nonstop. I think it was like 20 minutes of
I was like, this is what I was fucking wanted. It was fucking dope. Okay, you guys caught up on The Boys?
I am caught up.
Episode 5. Ruggs, you caught up?
I believe yes.
So, episode 5 spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Can somebody tell me where this show is going? Speaking of spinning its wheels,
everybody's converging and everybody knows what the fuck's going on. It's like, okay.
I don't understand though. They did this whole thing where they go and they get Stan Edgar, Giancarlo Esposito. They're like, we'll give you a pardon if you take us to the scientist for the virus so we can kill all the soups. And they have a fun little, animals V'd up, flying, attacking.
I did enjoy the
That was great. That was fucking wild. It's fucking wild. But there's no more virus. They just send him back to jail. Now Butcher did have Samir and cut his leg off. He's going to make the virus.
I felt like that was a dumb solution.
But I was like, you're back at square one. Like, what was...
But like, if the sheep are infected with the V, just take one of the sheep and just harvest the fucking V out of them. It's right there.
The virus is still in them. Yeah. It's in them technically.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I got a fucking dead person with COVID. Let me take the disease out of him and then still alive,
And what are the odds that Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character is not a real person?
Maybe like a Tyler Durden?
He's a figment. Because Butcher is seeing it.
Interesting. I didn't see that.
He's seeing his wife. He talks to his wife, right? Becca, who died. Nobody else has talked to that Joe Kessler character.
Oh, interesting.
Except, remember,
maybe I didn't see that. I didn't think of that.
He does give Butcher the powder to dose Ryan in the cookies, but Butcher never gave him the cookies. Maybe there wasn't even a powder. I don't know.
He said that he didn't do it because there's humanity coming out of him.
Right. Do you think that's the thing that's growing inside his brain, that tumor?
Yes. Tie that to, remember that shot? He's looking at that one rabbit and these tentacles come out. I believe it's something about that this compound V is becoming sentient and becoming worms. And that's what's in him, is some fucking tentacles or some sentient creature.
Well, he killed that guy he blacked out and killed that guy.
Yes. The Ezekiel. We don't know what happened there. Because he said he took Compound V like 6 months ago to try to cure himself. That leads into the Huey storyline, which was fucking so brutal.
That was. I will say this. I actually enjoyed this episode. They leaned away from all the stuff I didn't like, and I found especially the Huey dad stuff to be particularly affecting.
Poor Huey, like the torture they put Huey through. And so I just had this episode on, and my wife doesn't watch, and she was just like, she came in and sat down, and it was the scene where Huey's dad is vibrating through the guy in the bed, and just blood is falling. And she's just like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" And she gets up and leaves the room. I was like, yeah, this is hard to explain what I'm watching. It's fucking crazy. So, yeah, and then he has to euthanize him anyway. Like, if I think the mom's up to something too. If they just hadn't given him that, he wasn't going to give it to him. He was ready to let his dad go last episode. But then I
don't think that's the case.
No, but then they got to go through this, and he's got to put him down, and it was just fucking brutal. And even like Simon Pegg going, not remembering who he was and not knowing what the fuck is happening. It's wild.
No, I thought that was good. I also enjoy the storyline with fucking fast guy, whatever his name is, like being all paranoid.
Yes.
And then framing the Fox News guy.
Oh, yes. Oh, and then there's that bit where Homelander tells them, okay, we are going to be gods now. It's time to unleash your wrath. It's not going to be popular, but we need to do it. And yeah, they kind of get, and you see the Gen V kids are there, Kate and that other dude. And they kill the Fox News guy. A-Train also, do you think Sage knows A-Train took the thing and she's just fucking with him, or she's saving that information to use to manipulate him? How could she not know
she totally knows it.
I mean, they've kind of written themselves in a tough spot because she's supposed to be the smartest person in the world. Yeah. So you would think she totally has it figured out.
Yeah, she should. And then the least favorite storyline, Frenchie
I hate that storyline.
Tells Colin that he killed his fucking family and just turns himself into the police. That's it.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's
my least favorite story. I don't like this season. I don't know what
is this?
What are they doing with Frenchie? Like, what is the point? It's not even necessary. But it was crazy. I just thought they were spinning their wheels a little because I was like, this whole Stan Edgar thing.
What do you think of the cameos?
Wait, who was the cameo?
People from Gen V.
Oh no,
yeah,
it's good. Yeah, the girl and the boy.
So now you got the girl that can control people's minds.
Yes, and he's like strong and shit. Right?
Yeah.
I forget what his power is. And but where is this going? Like, he's still gonna make the virus, and like, I'm just like, where's this going now? I don't understand. They got 3 episodes left. Also, find out.
Everyone should die.
They have another season, so you know that nothing. I mean, I'd assume nothing hugely significant is going to happen.
And then they do the thing where like Victoria is there with Stan and the boys, and like they're trying to kill her. Just fucking kill her, or she should just killed all of them. Like, are you working together?
I know, why are they running away from the sheep when she could just explode them?
Just pop the sheep. That was a fun scene though.
That is a weird thing that I struggle with the boys, is they always put them in situations where the soups can just easily kill them.
Yeah, they don't,
or they could kill the other person, but they're all have shit on each other. And
that's like, true. It's it's constantly like, you do this, then this is gonna happen. Now you do this is gonna happen. But
there's only so many times you can go that well.
Yeah, it's getting.
And I was a bit confused. I was like, so now is everyone on the same side?
I don't know. Yeah. But Victoria did pop her dad, so he does not go back to prison. Literally popped the guy's head to free him.
Wait, he did?
Remember, he's driving away, and then his driver's head pops, and she shows up.
She frees their dad.
Yeah, so Stan. Yeah, so Stan is with her now, and their relationship is interesting. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's going. Anyways, that's The Boys, episode 5, season 4. You guys did not catch up to House of Hot D.
Not yet.
Hot D.
I did not.
All right, we'll touch base next week with the 2 episodes.
I can't wait to watch it though.
You like it? It's fucking good.
Just give us a quick. Did you like it?
It is good. It is furthering.
Not one of your usual summaries. Just tell us if you liked it or not.
No, it's good. The momentum continues. Rhaenyra tries one last-ditch effort to not have a war. Doesn't go well. And then if you watch the trailer for episode 4, there's a shot where she's like, release the dragons. Dragons are coming. Yeah, no, it was good. It's the same. It's just, it's consistently good. Things are happening. Things are being revealed and moving. Yeah, there's a great scene between Rhaenyra and Alicent. It's so good. So, anything else, Ruggs? You watch anything else?
Nope.
Fellas, I went out to see A Quiet Place day 1.
Oh.
This is because our boy, Gerald Morris, over at Two Peas on a Podcast, invited me over, and I recorded with him last night a review of A Quiet Place day 1. It will be out next week. So I won't say too much. I want you guys to go listen to that. But I like this series, and this was a decent entry into the franchise. Of course, it goes back to the first day the aliens came, which we saw a little bit in the second movie. It is not, though, what I expected. So if you're expecting this movie to have the same kind of action beats as the other two, if you're expecting this movie to explain maybe why these aliens show up or how they figured out that they're sensitive to sound, you're not going to get that in this movie. It is more a character drama about these two characters navigating through New York, as with bits of monster jump scares here and there.
Okay.
All three of the movies really do the same thing over and over again. The nice thing here is they switch the setting to New York City. You have two different characters, different point of view. Lupita Nyong'o is amazing in this movie, just with her eyes. Her expressive face carries the whole movie. There's an amazing cat, but there's a lot of quiet. It's the same thing. Real quiet, then a noise, everybody runs. Then you move on to the next place, it's real quiet. I don't know. If you like the other two, I think you'll dig this. I don't know.
In that world, you do not eat Taco Bell.
Yeah, because you can be tooting and then you ask it.
Yeah.
I don't. If I was to, it's not. It's like it's up there with them. I think the other two are a little bit better.
Okay.
I've never seen any of them.
The first two are great. The first one is great.
One's really good. Yeah. It's quality. It's more. It's like a sci-fi horror. It's a little bit like Aliens.
You like Alien? Yeah. It's very. Yeah. It's very on that same page.
And the second one is a nice continuation. It starts right where the first one ends, and so the two movies kind of work well together. Second one is an epilogue, and then this one is just whole different people. But not what I expected. It's a little something different, but decent. Okay, out this week at Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F on Netflix. Beverly Hills Cop 4, July 3rd. And also that bloody Indian action movie Kill, also coming out this weekend. So, I think we will. What do you guys think? Let's take a vote.
But
I will say that we should review Axel.
Okay.
Because of the fact that it is July 4th weekend, I don't want to make us. I'm sure people have plans. Don't necessarily need to go to a movie theater.
It's more convenient.
So, watch from the comfort of your own home. Beverly Hills, Axel F, and then we can review Kill at another time.
I like it. Let's do it.
I'm on board with that.
And then at some point, I got a Brat Pack pick. Anthony got a Brat Pack pick. I feel like we got to come back. Ruggs has got to pick a Brat Pack movie.
All right.
Just to round it out.
Okay, I'll think of one.
Okay, but next week's
won't be a John Hughes movie, probably.
Any movie. It's open pick. Any movie that's in the satellite or in the center or even adjacent to Brat Pack in the 80s. We'll round out the series. In the meantime, listener, your homework, Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. Watch it. Enjoy it. Love it. Hate it. Whatever. We'll be talking about it. In the meantime, Ruggs, where can the people find you?
Rug Boy Show on X. Come by. Follow me.
Anthony, where can the people find you?
You can find me online at July 4th,
Oh, yeah.
Try not to blow my hand off with the freaking firework that I bought from Indiana.
Everyone be safe. And just let me remind people that if you have pets, this is not a fun time for dogs. Depends on your dog, but just let's be...
What if your dog's deaf?
Well, then it's fine. But let's just be considerate. If you know your neighbors have dogs, don't be an asshole. That's all.
Don't be a butthole either.
Don't be a butthole either. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name is Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
morning I offered you a chance to be a cop, and you blew it.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
My balls was hot.
My balls was hot.
Jock and Nerd.
You're still here? You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go. Go home. It's over. Get out of here. Go home. All right? Leave. I'm calling the cops. Get out of here. Get out. The ending of Ferris Bueller wasn't that long a thing, but go. Get the fuck out. He didn't say that either, but that's me ad-libbing. Okay? Just go.